You might need adaptogens if you experience stress. So let's talk how sunshine, our morning sunshine walks, are helping to balance adaptogens. But, before we do, we need to talk some business. So every Friday, I share some magnesium because it makes my heart happy. So might be a little selfish. Because when you do something, it's supposed to be about the other person, but I get joy out of it too. So when I'm supposed to get that out on Friday, and Friday was crazy busy and it didn't get done. So on Saturday, I said, I'm doing it today, thinking I was all fancy and knew how to send a group text to the texting group that we have. Now, if you're not a part of that group text and you would like to be a part of that, you can text Good Life to 435 213 9048. And when you do that, you get little text updates. So yesterday, now realize Team Good Life, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to go a different way. Plan B. Team Good Life takes the weekend off, so that they're rested and renewed and they have good balance in their life. And so I went to go do that, and I realized I know how to answer the single texts on this new program that we have, but I don't know how to do the group ones. So it didn't happen. So the next plan is that it will happen. We'll do one on Monday because I'm going to have Team Good Life walk me through that. We'll do one on Monday so that I can learn how to do that with guidance. And then I'll do one on Friday. So that is going to happen. I will follow through on that word just a little bit differently than I thought. I didn't want to blast a bunch of text trying to figure it out and fill up your phones. So that's going to happen. And I'd love to have you join that texting group. And I do have a question on that I'd love to know your input. On that texting group, a couple of people have reached out and said, Kristen, we thought we'd get daily texts when the walk started. Now, absolutely that could happen. My thinking was that you can get those alerts from Facebook, and I just don't want to blast everybody's phone. So share in the comments if that would be beneficial to you to get that text, or if that's just too many texts to get. So let's go on to adaptogens because they're one of my favorite topics. And I want you to look at it through the filter of creating health, right? That's why you and I are here. So I'm outside this morning. I want the light hitting my eye receptor. I want that balance of red, blue, green light that only comes in the morning. Now, you can get other spectrums throughout the day, but the morning light is special. And we want to create optimal health. We want to feel good. And to do that, we have to decrease inflammation. And decreasing inflammation increases, I wasn't on comments. So that meant I wasn't seeing them. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. No, okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is that people would get Facebook notifications because, you know what? Anyway, so that's what I was thinking too, Lorraine. And so, but I wanted to know if other people had understood differently, because you can hit that little thing to get the notifications from Facebook. So we want to create optimal health. To do that, you need to be aware of your inflammation levels. Now, a blood work test that you can get is C-reactive protein. C-reactive protein is going to give you feedback in where your inflammation levels are. But it's like a scale, C-reactive protein, because your inflammation might be your inflammation might be at one point for your body, and somebody else's might be a different point. So, C-reactive protein testing is you can look at like once a year, every 6 months, and see, am I going up? Am I staying the same? Or am I going down when it comes to my C-reactive protein? And then you can also think, okay, I feel this way right now. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling healthy. And my C-reactive protein is here. And so you start gauging and setting up almost like a graph of where your C-reactive protein is. And so that's a helpful, at least it's been very helpful to me as someone with autoimmune issues. They're not active. And so, but I do stay on top of that C-reactive protein. Now, inflammation can be triggered in lots of different ways. Inflammation can be triggered by stress. And when you spike, and I want you to understand this concept, when you spike your cortisol levels, so let's say something that really bugs you. Oh, every morning you wake up and there's massive light coming in from your next door neighbor, and you wake up just like, oh my gosh, turn your outside light off. Your body perceives that as stress. And so your cortisol levels go up. And when your cortisol levels go up, your magnesium goes out. Magnesium helps you to manage inflammation. Now, there's other things that help you manage that also. Magnesium is the first thing that you lose, though, that helps you to manage that. And so, that maintaining your mindset, training your brain, is such an important part of walking the journey of health. So, for example, you wake up and there's that frustration over the neighbor's light, and you also have the thought, man, I'm so grateful for that sunshine, though. You can start training your brain to walk down the pathway of gratitude instead of the pathway of frustration. You have both there. It's just which one you're choosing to put energy on. And as you do that, you start to develop neural pathways. It's just like a road in a field. The more it gets used, the bigger and deeper that road, that or ruts in the road are created because of the traffic. We want you creating pathways in your brain that are not cortisol and stress pathways, but are pathways of love, gratitude, and those kinds of things. And so to do that, you have to change your thoughts. Changing your thoughts, a full-time job. It's all the time. And we have a 5-day challenge coming up in course 7. I'm really excited about, because we're really going to focus and shine the light on what's really happening with your thoughts. Because have you ever noticed, like, for example, my husband's the master at this. It just comes naturally to him. He inspires me, and I'm getting better at it. He is the master. Double amputation from the knees down. So he had what's called below the knee. It didn't take his knees, sorry. He had below the knee amputation. And he literally, I watched him process the pain, the grief, the loss. He took time to process it, to feel it, to sit with it, and he let it go. And he chose to focus on the wonderful staff that was, oh, I'm going into one of my favorite parts. So it's like, it feels like this magical forest. And it walks out onto the beach. So, I hope I still get good internet reception. Oh, this might be an issue. I didn't think of that. So tell me if it gets sketchy on my internet connection. But he literally, instead of complaining, and which, in my opinion, he had full right to do, the man was in incredible pain. He started focusing on the staff that was coming into his hospital room to help him. And it was so interesting to me. They would hang out with him, they would stay by his bedside because he was positive. Now, he wasn't faking it, that's who he is. And it comes more easily to him because he does it all of the time. He's built that muscle. And so I use him as my example. Oh, we're getting close to the ocean. I can hear it. And so that's what we need to be doing. And it is an active job that we build that muscle, build those neural pathways in our brain, because you cannot create health in a stressed out body. And when you have a ton of stress in your body, you can be doing all of the things to quote be healthy. And if you've ever had the thought, nothing works for me, you got a cortisol issue. And learning about how to manage and decrease that is so important. And it's one of the reasons I'm going to turn around right here. I'm going to stay away from the ocean today. We had some people that felt like they couldn't hear very well. We had, so learning how to create better, more powerful pathways when, let's see, I guess I'll just go back around this way. Learning how to create more powerful pathways. Now, so important, because a broken pattern can come up right here. And I want to talk about it in relationship with stress as we jump into adrenals. So, like below the knee amputation on both legs. It's pretty intense, right? And some of you might be taking the pathway, oh my gosh, like he's amazing. I don't have any problems. Yeah, you do. Don't compare. Comparing problems or good things in your life to other people, or what kind of house you live in, or what kind of shoes you wear, or what kind of cars you drive, that's the thief of health. Compare and contrast is the thief of health. Do not compare yourself to my husband's experience. You, fortunately, were probably born with the veins that you need from your knees down. He was not. He was born without them. You're supposed to have 3 that are about the size of your finger. He has 1 that's like a little silken thread. He can remember as a kid his legs just burning and being on fire. They didn't know at the time they were in the process of dying. So if you do that, it actually increases your cortisol. If you're like, oh, I don't have any problems. Yeah, there are problems. Just because your problems are not my husband's problems, there are problems there. And you have to go through that same process. You have to mourn it, you have to sit with it, and then you can find gratitude and focus on something different. That's exactly what he did. It's an easy not easy. Let me pull that word back. It's a 3-step process. And it doesn't matter how small or how big the process. When there's cortisol, your body doesn't go, oh, this is amputation cortisol. This is really bad. Or this is your neighbor left the lights on and you didn't sleep well last night, cortisol. Cortisol is cortisol, and it causes damage in your body and it walks you away from health. So don't compare and contrast. And we all do it. We just have to actively walk away from it. Compare and contrast. Living that pattern is a thief of health. And you can notice, like, if you compare your body to other people, if you compare the car you drive, like, oh, I drive a better car than they do, or my car's not as nice, or your house, or your clothes. A lot of women do it with their husbands. Um, it is a thief of health. And so if you experience that, like, oh, that's not, that thinking is not going to get you healthier, and actually adds, and usually it's shame cortisol, which is intense, and it adds cortisol instead of walking away from it. So it's so important to be on top of that, because if you're not, your body has two gears: fight or flight, and rest and renew. And if you're not in rest and renew, you're not creating health. And I want you creating health. And if it feels hard, if it feels like nothing's working for you, you're probably in fight or flight mode in your nervous system. Your parasympathetic and your sympathetic make up that nervous system. So, adaptogens. Let's finally get to adaptogens. That was long-winded to get to adaptogens. So, let's get to adaptogens. Do adaptogens help you? Absolutely. I love them. I love adaptogens. I absolutely love them. Adaptogens, though, I think get overused, and they get used for too long. Adaptogens are a tool that act like a bridge to help you create better health. They, cute little bunnies, they do not override and come before building that attitude of gratitude, which we call here at Living the Good Life a magnesium mindset. They don't override that. And so I wanted to talk about the role that sunshine plays in your health and adaptogens, because my favorite adaptogen, all-time favorite across the board for most people, used to be, not anymore, used to be ashwagandha. Less and less, there's less and less success using ashwagandha. What does an adaptogen do? It's literally support for your body. It helps your body manage stress. Support. But if you use it like a crutch, it eventually quits working. And so adaptogens are a short-term bridge. They're not used all the time. And I couldn't figure out, like, there was this great ashwagandha, and if it does work for you, it's amazing. But if it doesn't work, it'll make you tired. And I couldn't figure out why. Why are we losing this as a tool? It's such an inexpensive tool, this ashwagandha that I love. And then I finally put those puzzle pieces together. If you have free-floating cortisol everywhere, if your body has mass amounts of cortisol, that ashwagandha is going to make you tired, and it's not going to work. It's not going to support you. It's actually going to walk you away from being healthy. Therefore, morning glorious sunshine, because of the balanced spectrum of light in the morning that you do not get any other time during the day. Now, you can get other benefits during the day. I'm going to leave my jacket here again. It's taking less and less time before I take it off. Our weather's warming up a bit. You can, as you build, we don't want to take it long term. You don't take it for a year, 3 to 6 months. Ashwagandha in a body that is not properly balanced, Leanne, can cause sun sensitivity. And so that's where You have to remember that a supplement, not you, Leanne, I'm talking to everyone. I never want someone to feel like that's where we have to remember a supplement is a supplement. It does not replace what I call grandma wisdom of the basics. Don't eat so much sugar. Don't eat unhealthy plastic fats. Eat higher quality foods. Eat in a way that supports your body's health. And sugar and crappy, cheap vegetable oils and plastic fats will aggravate that. So, in someone who eats like that, absolutely. Oh, Pat, I'm so glad. So let's talk about some of um, my other favorite adaptogens. And remember, adaptogens are supplemental. Your patterns and habits are what create health. Because no, yesterday I had such a good self-care day. Like I basically was able to spend pretty much the whole day. I needed it. It had been a really big week and I needed that self-care day. Sometimes I don't get that though. And so when craziness hits or when extra things hit or stressful times, we go back to our patterns and habits. And that takes us back to our values. For those of you who are in Course 7, drop me a Course 7 hashtag. We are going to be focused on our values because is what happens during the holidays is we walk away from our patterns and habits if they are not high enough in our value system. And so if you find yourself during the holidays not maintaining your health, it's because you have other values higher than the value of health. You've got to move it up your hierarchy of needs. Okay, squirrel, let's get back to other adaptogens I really like. Shazandra, great adaptogen. Lion's mane, another really good adaptogen. Rhodiola, another one of my favorites. Now, let's talk dosage. I can't tell you that. And some people, depending on medications, depending on disease process in your body, adaptogens are not a good fit. So if you're on immunosuppressant therapy, let's say you have colitis and you're on immunosuppressant therapy, do not take adaptogens. They'll be fighting against each other. So whomever is on your board of directors for creating help, you need to talk with them, get thoughts, opinions, and then you take all those thoughts and opinions and make the decision that's best for you because you're the CEO of your health. Adaptogens help you adapt to stress. Now, I can tell you this, how to take them and how long. I don't like to see 9 months is extreme. That's a really long time. 3 or 6 months is my favorite. And I evaluate every 3 months when I'm on adaptogens. Is this still a good fit for me? Is it still benefiting me? When I'm on adaptogens, I'm also at the same time, because remember it's supplemental. So if I'm on adaptogens, I'm saying I'm not handling stress very well, which means while you're on those adaptogens, it's time to kick in and create some more stress management tools. Do you see how that works? And a lot of times we just take the adaptogen, oh yeah, make me better. It's like the same concept of going to a Western medical doctor, a chiropractor, a holistic person, and expecting them to get you healthy without taking responsibility. They're on your team. It's your responsibility. And if you're on adaptogens, that's saying to me, I don't have enough stress management tools. And so while you're on the adaptogens, kick up and play with and start to figure out what are your stress management tools. So, for example, mine is the ocean and my feet in the sand and walking that ocean and hearing those waves and seeing those waves. We have so many women who have been stressed for so long. They don't know what it feels like. They've forgotten the feeling of just being and enjoying the moment. And so remember when you're taking adaptogens. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about, I think, let's see, where should I go? I'm going to go explore this trail. I don't think it's by too many houses. Okay, so remember when you're on adaptogens, you're increasing your stress management tools. And here's one of mine. So simple, so easy. It's just a question. Because I recognize if you're needing adaptogens, you got something externally going on in your life that's making it hard to create help. And it might not be the best time to do lots of focus on adaptogens. Oh, I waited for that car and he took another turn. So a simple one, it's so simple, 2 simple ones. Change the way you're breathing. Just take some deep breaths in, out through your nose, close your mouth. Maybe that's another topic we'll talk about, is the way we breathe. In through your nose, close your mouth, exhale. 5, 10, 20 breaths will change how your body is perceiving the cortisol. Another one, a big spoonful of honey, if appropriate for you. Now, if you are in the state of disease and you've let your body get to type 2 diabetes, that's not going to be a good fit for you. Honey mops up and absorbs cortisol. Our morning walks in the sunshine are one of the most powerful ways. Morning specifically helps mop up cortisol in your body. And once you do that enough and you're consistent, you can bring back ashwagandha, because ashwagandha supports a woman's body powerfully with hormones, with thyroid, adrenals, mitochondria, ATP energy. Ashwagandha is just such a good one, but not if you've got too much. So we talked about how long to take it. Let's talk about how to determine how much you need. And this is really a good exercise because it connects you to your vagus nerve. And some people have blasted out their vagus nerve tone and it's not toned. It's this really tired nerve. And the vagus nerve is the tell-all nerve. It tells the body everything. It touches almost everywhere in your body. And it's so important. I'm going to go. Let's see. I'm going to go this way. I think I can get down there by that ocean. This way. So the vagus nerve has to be toned. And so some of you don't get feedback. And I'll say something like, ooh, that really helped me. And they're like, I couldn't tell a difference. Have you ever said that? Like, I couldn't tell that it didn't do anything. That's vagus nerve tone. And so you have to bring on someone from your board of directors and you choose them. You're the CEO. I get to choose who's on Team Good Life. And I'm the one who chooses what jobs they do because I'm the CEO. You also are the CEO. And this is where now my board of directors has some people who love me and literally would lay their life down for me. My mom, my husband. I also have paid people on my board of directors for help. I have different categories. I have money advisors, but we're focused on help. So in that health board of directors part, you need to look at one of them that you're with a lot physically, or you touch base with them daily so that they know you. They know you well. And you say to them, hey, I'm starting some new things, and I want you to notice if you see a difference. And so in the morning, whatever type of adaptogen you're taking, being just a little quiet, going through this little stint of neighborhood. I guess it's not as bad as when I went through the motels and all the windows were open to the ocean. So you go to that to that adaptogen, and you take one in the morning. That's it. Usually with your food, you take one, and then 24 hours later, the next part of your day, you look back at the last 24 hours and say, did I notice a micro difference? I'm not saying, and here's where a mistake can be made very easily. I see lots of people doing this. Their expectations don't match what the adaptogen can do. And so they expect one pill in 24 hours. Now, it sounds absurd, but we all experience this. Their expectations are, I did it, I took care of myself, therefore I deserve to feel better. That's a person that's in doing mode. That's a person who's in fight or flight mode. And so they tend to not notice the micro actions. And is all we're looking for is a slight bump. Did you have a little more clarity when you went to bed? Were you not quite as tired? Did you sleep just a little bit better? In the afternoon, you know how that afternoon adrenal crash can hit? Oh, I'm going to go out here and just show some of you a picture of where I'm at, a little glimpse. Did my afternoon, I not get quite as tired? Now, 24 hours later in the next morning, if you've noticed something, you've talked to the person on your board of directors and said, hey, did you notice anything? If you didn't, and most people don't at one, oh, let's see, isn't there a way? I think there's a way I can turn this around. Oh, maybe, it's a different, okay, I'll just turn around this way. Can you see? I don't know if you can see up there or here. So I'm right along ocean front and a bird sanctuary. So most people don't with one. And then we're also looking for, did it make my heart race? Did I feel jittery? Did I feel like I was surging, like I had moments of energy and then I crash? If that happened, that is not a good adaptogen for you at all. You're done with that one. Now, later on, with better thyroid function, better adrenal function, better potassium intake to the cell, it could be a great fit. So you have a choice, pass it on to someone else or tuck it away to try at least a year later. So let's say you didn't experience any negative, but you didn't really feel any better. And your board of directors person, they didn't see a difference either. So at that point, you take two and you continue that process until you get a micro lift. And I'm talking micro. Now, we are wired as Americans. I don't think we have anyone from out of the USA on this feed. Every once in a while, we have some European friends that'll kick in that know me, our adopted Welsh grandma, but very few. The American way is if a little is good, a lot is better. And that's not true when it comes to adaptogens. You want to stop at your first lift. Oh, oh, it's beautiful. You want to stop at your first lift that you've gotten from the adaptogens. Now I'm going to scroll for a minute because I've had a lot of people text or private message and even leave comments on the lives. Oh my gosh, I wish I lived at the beach. That's compare and contrast. That's the thief of health. If you've had that thought, it's prettier there, it's better there, it's not as hot there. I want you to retrain your brain and find something on your walk that's so beautiful you want to show me. And when you find it, post it in the comments on our live. That's the pattern of a healthy woman. Not saying, oh, I wish I was. That's the thief of health. That elevates cortisol and decreases your gratitude. The more active gratitude we have, the less cortisol we have. So building, not just like I know right now, you could rattle off a list of things you're grateful for. That's not the type of gratitude I'm talking about. I'm talking about gratitude you experience on the inside. That's what reduces cortisol. And then you add to it the morning sunshine, the rays, the specific wavelengths that come in at 3:40 in the morning. You decrease cortisol that way. And using adaptogens will also help you, but you have to use them right. I see these used so incorrectly across the board. And adaptogens are powerful and they can actually take you away from health. And so on your adaptogens, as we're flipping back now for those of you that connection's not made on how many you take. So let's say you're up to 4. That's a lot to take. So is what you could do is say, okay, I'm at 4. Maybe I need this spread out. And so try taking 2 in the morning with your breakfast and at lunch. Now, for those of you, I've had several comments and private messages on the sound noise. We're coming up to sound at the ocean. If that triggers you, hop off. Take care of yourself. That's a principle and a part of living the good life naturally. You taking responsibility and taking care of yourself. So if that noise really triggers you, hop off. For me personally, it's very soothing. So maybe is what it is you need a little pop of adaptogen in the morning, and then you need more again at lunchtime. And so that can be, so it's not, and this is another place where I think we have a crack in on our journey to creating health, because the expectation, and again, you may have never said it, but internally, this is what you experience, is the expectation that, you start taking them, easy to take, you pop a pill and you feel better. There's more work involved on that journey. And like we talked yesterday, creating health can be hard sometimes. Creating disease is even harder. Pick your heart. Because there is some investment time into figuring out how adaptogens work for you. And nobody can tell you how that adaptogen, how much and when. Nobody can tell you that. It doesn't matter how much they know. They do not know your body as intimately as you do. And here's another thing. Ooh, okay, this one, I've had some real hate over this one. Just a note, if you don't agree with it, I think we can still be friends. We don't have to agree on everything. That would be a boring world if we agreed on everything. I am claiming the boundary. If you leave snarky comments, I will block you and I will not respond to them. That is a boundary of love to myself. I do not believe that a machine that gives you biofeedback can tell you what to do. I don't think they're accurate. I don't care how much training the person had. There is nothing like your God-given vagus nerve being powerful and your own innate knowledge. Nothing can replace that. That's the same pattern as going to a doctor or a chiropractor or a functional med doctor and putting the responsibility on them. Uh-uh, uh-uh. We're in feminine energy and we are bringing people to us. We attract those people and those things that support health when you're standing strongly in your own individual energy. And so I don't like those machines. I see them doing more damage than I see them doing good. And you might have like an experience that says, oh, but Kristen, it helped me so much. Okay, I get that. It might have. But what did you lose in the process? Your own innate knowledge and feedback. Nothing is worth giving that away. You have to build that. You skipped steps. And when you skip those steps, you lose powerful tools. So, yeah, it might have been a short-term fix. I am so not into short-term fixes. I'm into building a long-term foundation powerfully. That's what I do. It's what creates health long-term. I don't want to, anyway, that's where I'm at on that. So even if right now your vagus nerve, okay, I'm going to slow down my pace. Even though right now your vagus nerve might be trashed, you can still do that with you as the CEO of your health, bringing on someone on your board of directors that has your best interests at heart. You can do that. You can build that. Even if you can't get out of the chair. I saw my husband do it while he was on massive narcotics after his amputation. He had to be. And another one, if you're coming after me that he took pain medication, we have had that one probably a couple hundred times. And I really let it get to my head and diminished myself. No way. I'm drawing that boundary. If anything is said about my husband, about what he did on his journey, you will be blocked forevermore. Always. He had to. And he did an amazing job managing them and is completely off of them now. Even if he weren't, though, that's okay. Because you can build wherever you're at. And that's a perfectionist. That's a perfectionist attitude. And that attitude never gets you healthy. You can build wherever you're at. Maybe, I keep saying, walk for an hour in the morning. Maybe you can't walk for an hour in the morning. Build where you're at. Build where you're at. And don't compare and contrast to what other people are doing. It's the thief of health. You're not going to create health if you keep focusing on what you can't do. You have to focus on where you're at and build from there. And micro steps. Okay, so adaptogens. Personally, most adaptogens, depending on the type and kind, I wouldn't go over 6 or 8 a day. Ballpark. Each one's going to be a little bit different. Oh, Leanne, it might be my end. So here's what we'll do. We'll call it closed today. I'm on a different pathway, and I wondered if that was going to happen. So there's our final marine layer shot of the ocean. That noise is calming to me and helps bring me back to center. And that's what we need. You need somewhere that you can get to daily or a couple times a day. Sometimes I'm here morning and evening. A couple times a day that you immediately go back to center. And usually it's outside. And we're going to go deep into negative ions on the future walk together. And a pattern and a habit, remember, patterns and habits and values are all connected and are crucial while you build health. And I'm going to share with you some habits that I've created before and after I walk that increase the negative ions that I'm around. I don't know. Well, I thought that would be a topic. Share with me below if that interests you, like what I do before and what I do after my walk to help increase negative ions. And just those patterns help increase my health. So, as we come to the end of our time together, oh my gosh, this has been a longer one. My goal was to keep these short. I am learning how to embrace how long winded I am. Good grief. Good grief. Okay. So, what resonated with you the most today? It's Sunday. Today's Sunday. It's different than the other days of the week for me. And you took time to spend with me. What resonated with you? What was that piece of information that you thought, oh, this is why I showed up? This is what I needed to connect with today. I'd love to know what it is. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, Kathy and Colleen, for letting me know on the negative ions and the patterns and what I do to my patterns and habits before and after my walk, and what I do to increase negative ions in my body. And anyone can do it. There are things. Now, some of them you may not be able to physically do yet. That's okay, because we don't compare. We support. And you'll figure out things that will work for you. Healthy women filter strongly. And so you filter the information that you and I are talking about on our walk. You filter that through what your body needs and where you are at. And we don't compare. We just don't do it. Stop. Now. Done. You're done. There. Boom. We're done. You and I comparing. Because we recognize it's the thief of health. Okay. Pat. Oh, that's so kind of you, Pat. It all resonated. Truly, so kind. I haven't done a good job throwing comments up there today. It's a little bit more, the road was a little bit different, and so the phone's jiggling. So the longer comments I couldn't read, and I didn't get the comments up. So a little bit of a learning curve on our new path. I know a lot of you love the ocean like I do. So I'm to this little spot where I'm going to go to finish my walk, and we'll just stand there for a second. There's not as much wind today, so maybe you'll not hear wind, but you'll hear ocean sounds and see the waves. And here's a powerful thing. We talked a little bit about breath, and we're going to go more into breath and sunshine and the benefits of those two things match. But here's a little, mopping up cortisol with your own choices and actions. That's a powerful takeaway. Okay, we've got 9 people on right now, and we've had 2 people respond. Oh, do I ever forget where I've left my jacket? Yes. And so I always think, I hope somebody picked it up, and then I go get another jacket. I just, I hate wearing it around my waist. And I was thinking about this the other day, is what I could do is I could, because I do cold therapy, thermogenesis that we talked about yesterday. I do cold therapy, and I'm building to jump in that ocean every day after my morning walk. That's what I'm building to. And I haven't done it yet. I'll tell you when I do. And my mindset when I do cold, I build that mindset and I step into it. And I realize, why am I having such a hard time with that dang jacket? It's not that cold. I mean, it's a little chilly when I start out, but it's not that cold. And it doesn't last for that long once I get my own internal body temperature up. And I realized, and remember, we talked about where you put your energy is what grows. So my energy, as I'm leaving my house is what would be most helpful, what would be most powerful, what will inspire, not inspire, but what would help them understand action and taking action and celebrating action. And so I'm thinking about all of that stuff. And so I haven't focused on that mindset of, Kristen, you're going to be cold a little bit in the beginning. And so I'm going to do that the next time. And I'm going to build my ability to hold more things in the morning as I prepare for the walk with me. And then that way, see if I can just ditch the dang jacket. But yes, I have done that. My husband loves me so much, and he laughs and he'll be, need to buy another jacket. Oh, yeah. But this one I've kept for a while. I've kept it for a while. So it's like a teddy bear jacket. Okay. So, oh, yes, Leanne, that's a great one. Oh, Colleen. I don't know what river you'll be at. If you can, the more of your body you can get into it, the better. So my goal is what I'm going to start doing, and I've got a few more things I want to build on the cold thermogenesis I'm doing right now to activate my brown fat for my brain health. That's a super motivator for me, is my brain health. Because if you haven't noticed, I jump from topic to topic, and I know that sometimes it's hard for people, and I want to have better follow through and better accountability for that. And I want optimal brain function. So that really motivates me. And so I've got some more goals to meet in my ice baths. And then once I've met those goals, I'm going to start after my walk. At the beginning of my walk, I'll set my little beach chair and a couple of beach towels for this. And then I will have shorts on under my leggings. So I'll take my leggings off, and then I'm going to go run and dunk my head in the ocean and get up to where I can stay there as long as I can hold my breath, because I've got access to it every day. I realized the other day as we were talking about cold thermogenesis, Kristen, why are you not doing that? Like, I hadn't even thought of that. So I'm excited because I'm going to start doing that, and then really seeing the difference on my inflammation and how it activates my metabolism, because I've got some metabolism things that I'm really focused on with menopause. Oh, menopause changed some things for me. And so that cold ocean, oh, talk about brain function. We're going to go back. We're going to go back. And I'm going to stand here and I'm going to be quiet, and I can do it. I'm not going to talk. We're going to stand here for just a minute. And I want you, I don't know if you can see or hear the pattern of the ocean. If you can, I want you to sink your breath in through your nose, close your mouth when you put it out. I have no idea if that was a minute. I forgot to look at the time. I really enjoyed being with you today. I am so glad that you and I have started this walk with me in the morning. I love morning times. Sometimes I don't love the actual act of getting out of bed, but once I'm up, I love it. It's my favorite time of day. And remember, the whole series is about sunshine. So I want to leave with, oh, you're so welcome, Pat. Oh, you love the breathing. Let's start adding that at the end. We'll start adding that at the end. The one thing, though, on my agenda, remember, I have an agenda, you and I. The one thing on that agenda is remembering that sunshine decreases cortisol levels in your body. When you decrease cortisol levels in your body, you create a pathway of creating health with ease, of supporting your vagus nerve, of toning that vagus nerve. Cortisol, think of cortisol like, what would be a good visual? Oh, think of cortisol like acid being thrown on your vagus nerve, and it just etches it and frays it and makes it weak. That's what cortisol does to your whole body, especially vagus nerve. And, oh, I don't want to go that way. That's going to have tons of traffic. Tons, 6 cars. I say tons of traffic and my kids laugh. We've gotten spoiled to our little oasis here in Central California. So I want you to make that connection and have that understanding so that as you follow through on action, you recognize you will never create optimal health without sunshine. Never. And I want optimal health. And optimal health isn't something that you create one time and then focus on something else. Optimal health is something that you build that muscle. Ooh, did you see that? My weightlifting's helping. Optimal health is something that you become accustomed to holding that in your daily space. It's not, oh, get this done and then I'm focusing on something else. No, it's about expanding your ability to hold that space. And you ready for this? You will never create optimal health ever if you don't start putting you first. It's time. Your needs need to come first. It's a silly analogy and you've heard it 1,000 times, but if you're on a plane and you need oxygen, there's someone you love next to you that needs it too. You got to put yours on to get theirs on. Building health is the same way. Really making a difference in the lives of people that we love. You have to put you first. And if that feels selfish or you feel guilty, you've got some broken beliefs. And creating health, little ninja turtle, like little toddler underwear. Somebody changed out of Sandy clothes. So you've got some broken beliefs. If that feels heavy or you feel guilty, you've got some broken beliefs. And your values have some lies basically woven in. And if you have broken patterns, which personally I think all of us do, that will feel very selfish in the beginning. But as you start to feel better and you see the difference, the impact that you can make on other people's lives, you'll realize, oh, it's not selfish at all. That selfishness, that guilt, that shame at putting myself first was my subconscious holding me back and keeping me the same. And my goal is to be just a little bit better every single day. A little bit more of me, a little bit more kind, a little bit more loving, a little bit more healthy. My father-in-law had that philosophy, and I love that man. And just a little bit better every day. And those people who want to start it all, do it all, those are the ones that end up giving up because they get overwhelmed. It's the ones that just do a little bit every day, a little bit more, a little bit more. And it starts with sunshine and magnesium. So July, we're focused on sunshine. learning all about it personally. When I learn, it helps activate my action. And then August, we're all about magnesium. But that one we're going to do in the evening time. That'll be in the evening time. So it's been so delightful. Oh, I love that. So powerful. So delightful to be with you today. I think this is probably the fifth time I've said I'm ending, but I really am this time. Have a great day. I'm off to do, I think probably today, I'll only do 4 miles more, but I'm going to kick it into gear. I'm going to add some sprints as I feel stronger. That weightlifting's really making a difference, even in how I stand, how my shoulders feel. And so I'll do a couple sprints and 4 miles. Share with me what you're going to do today to create health and have the best day.